Hello, good evening. Welcome. This is Hot Edition. We're live morning news up at Desawe Kanda, also live on Kesme 107.1 in Tamale and beyond. We're live on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. You can also listen to us all across the world on 3news.com. We're live streaming on Facebook and X at 3FM 927. I am Alfred Ocansey. This evening, Minister of Interior imposes a curfew within the Nkwanta South Township following the death of 8 people in a renewed tribal clash. We'll be engaging authorities shortly on this rather unfortunate incident here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.6. Also, government to ban importation of rice, yemuadia, and diapers in Ghana. Stay with us. We'll get into the details of that. Plus, work appears to commence at La General Hospital site after being abandoned for nearly 3 years. We'll tell you exactly what's happening on that La General Hospital construction site here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We have the latest in business, sports, and entertainment coming up over the next 60 minutes. I am Alfred Ocansey. Remember, Hot Edition is probably brought to you by Old Mutual. Old Mutual says do great things every day. We'll be telling you a bit more about their policies as we go on. Let's get into the details now. And 8 persons have been confirmed dead, with 5 others in critical condition in Nkwanta in the Oti region following the suspected reprisal attack on the community after an attack last month, which led to the death of 1 person. Now, 1 person was shot dead at Nkwanta following a clash between the Akwede and Chalas and Adele, all ethnic groups in Nkwanta, over the choice of venue for the celebration of the annual Yam Festival by the people of Achode. Now, what we are hearing is that the security personnel are reportedly searching for more missing persons as houses have been reduced to debris. Also, we'll get to details of that shortly, where the incident is reportedly said to have occurred at about 5 p.m. on Monday. A statement from the Interior Ministry indicated imposition of curfew in the area from 5 p.m. to 6 a.m. It further appealed for restraint and the use of the establishment of some mechanisms for the resolution of conflicts and disputes. The Interior Ministry further reiterated the ban on the small and arms use, and also anyone found in possession and movement will be arrested and prosecuted. These are the details from the statement that just came through from the Interior Ministry. Now, let's go into the telephone shortly. We'll be joined by the Municipal Chief Executive for the area, but Adib Sani, a security analyst who've been following this quite closely. Adib, and this is unfortunate with what we're hearing now, the 8 persons dead as a result of what has been described as a reprisal attack. With this curfew that has just also come through, what's your own reading of the incident so far?
Alfred, I've always stated that there are well over 350 unresolved chieftaincy and land disputes in Ghana. And I haven't really seen any concrete, progressive, deliberate action on the part of stakeholders, be it the government, be it the Peace Council, be it the religious organizations, be it even civil society to a very large extent, in fundamentally dealing with those chieftaincy and land disputes. The approach has always been superficial, just as it is happening at this point in time. Curfew, and after some time, if it dies down, it's business as usual. But on this occasion, I think that we really need to look closely into some of these chieftaincy and land disputes. And it is important to note that this issue is not new. There were some clashes not too long ago. And the MP for the area, somewhere around the 5th of November, called for people to hand over their weapons to the security services, because the area is awash with a lot of weapons. And the issue has always lingered on. And our inability to deal with it, but rather superficially, I think is what is making it recur. Okay, so in as much as it is despicable, it is unfortunate, it is needless, this should give us the opportunity to look closely into the litany of chieftaincy and land disputes in the country. And Alfred, let me also state that in as much as we are concerned about the threat of terrorism and people coming from elsewhere into Ghana to harm us, the domestic local issues are more dire than the international issues. And one of those thorny issues is land and chieftaincy disputes.
I see, but then again, you describe this curfew as superficial intervention. Why is that?
Well, in the interim, it is important to stop the belligerence. It is important to get the factions to stop firing at each other and to maintain some level of law and order. But I describe it as superficial within the long term. If it is a long-term approach, then surely it's not going to work. And that has been a similar approach we've been using for Boku to get people to stop fighting. When they stop fighting, we think peace has come. The peace doesn't mean the absence of war. That is something we need to understand. Okay, so when the fighting stops in the interim, we should take advantage, use state infrastructure, use state structures rather, CSOs, the Peace Council, etc., to deal with the fundamental issue that is pushing the people to fight. And mostly it is about land. Today, maybe it is about a customary exercise, okay, that triggered it, just as we had the 1994 Guinea fowl war. People call it Guinea fowl because according to information, it was a Guinea fowl that started it. But a Guinea fowl might have triggered it. But what started it are those fundamental issues. What government interventions are in the area? Okay, what is the educational standards in the area? Jobs. How many of the youth in the area are with jobs or without jobs? What is the economic situation in the area and all that? All of these human insecurities, in my opinion, and based on my expertise as a human security advocate, is what is creating that unique opportunity for violence to take precedence over peace.
I see, but if you look at least the incidents that have led to this rather unfortunate situation we're talking about today, we understand that there was an incident that led to the death of one person sometime last month. And despite attempts by the Oti Regional Security Council to resolve the issue, these skirmishes have continued to plague the town over the period, which has led to this situation that we're talking about now. And in fact, we also gathered that RECSEC, that's the Regional Security Council, has also consulted chiefs and other opinion leaders in the area to urge residents to put down their guns and restore peace. That has also not helped the situation. It didn't make much of a difference. And then this is what has happened. So there's been a number of interventions to try and, as it were, avert or prevent what we're talking about today. It's not as though when this happened about a month ago, they went to sleep, at least based on what we're hearing.
Well, as a project manager, I believe in output. I believe in results. Okay. I think our trial has not been good enough, because if it were, I don't think we would have had such an incident on a large scale. In fact, worse than it was previously. So I don't think we have done enough. And I'm also wondering, since the last time it happened, what is the intelligence situation like on the ground? Did we anticipate that anything of that nature could have happened? Is it an intelligence failure of some sort? To what extent have we engaged the stakeholders, the major stakeholders who would, with a snap of a finger, galvanize 100 youth to start firing at the other side? Have we engaged them enough? How about the issue of law and order? Have we brought people to book? Have we ensured justice? Is there impunity taking over everything in that area? All of these are legitimate questions that needs to be asked. As a conflict and mediation specialist, okay, sometimes I teach my students. I tell them, look, if your two colleagues are fighting and you ask one and you say that we are fighting because the other time I came to work, she didn't greet me. Okay, for your information, the greeting might not necessarily be the reason they are fighting. It might be long-standing. So let us look at those deep-seated socio-economic and geopolitical deficits in that area, like I earlier said, that creates that environment for violence to thrive. It's a very unfortunate situation, and I'm saddened by the loss of life and the wanton display of lawlessness to the extent that security officers were also caught up in the crossfire. I don't know if they were deliberately targeted. So I think government has to do more to bring finality to this, dispute that is disrupting business activities in the area and posing an existential threat to the security of the state.
And beyond this curfew, we understand there's heavy police military presence there, but what other measures are you, from your security analysis perspective, would you expect that the Interior Ministry should consider?
Well, surely we need to maintain some level of presence on the ground. We need more boots to ensure that the fighting stops, but it doesn't end there. Justice has to be served. The police, together with the intelligence agencies, would have to send a clear signal to the effect that Nkwanta is not a pariah, okay? When you do things inconsistent with the law, it would definitely catch up with you. We first of all have to send that clear message. If you misbehave, then laws would catch up with you. And I would expect that people are brought to book for what has happened. If not, if my relative is killed and nobody is held to account, what do you think? What messages do you think I might have running through my mind? Okay, then going forward, I think we need to engage the major stakeholders. I mean, let's get them to either individually or collectively sit around a table and get to understand what their menacing issues are and how we can together collectively work to improve security in the area. And the long-term approach, like I indicated, working towards the human security in the area. What are the economic activities? How do we improve on the livelihoods of the people? Because, you see, people sometimes fight because they have nothing to lose. If I die, it doesn't mean already. I think death is better than living, considering my economic or financial situation. So if you are able to improve livelihoods in the area, it creates some sense of responsibility. People would marry, have children. I mean, always I tell people I don't fear death. The only reason I fear death are my children. When I die, what happens to them? You understand? So that sense of responsibility would make people think twice before going out into the street with Kalashnikovs.
We'll see how things play out. Adib, thank you so much for your thoughts, as always.
Thank you.
Adib Sane is security analyst with Jakite Center for Human Security, also joining us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're still knocking on the doors of the municipal chief executive for the area to get a bit more detail into exactly beyond this curfew that has been imposed, what next? Bright Awini, who is the municipal chief executive for the area. Hopefully when we get him on the telephone, we will get a bit more information on this. But if you're just joining us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, 15 minutes after 6, 8 people have been confirmed dead in a fresh shooting incident at Nkwanta South in the Oti region. According to eyewitnesses, the armed assailants opened fire on residents at the Nkwanta Central Market early this morning. Now, several property have been destroyed and residents have fled for safety, leaving behind a ghost town. A police officer and 5 others are in critical condition after suffering bullet wounds in the shootout. Now, the victims are currently receiving treatment at the Nkwanta St. Joseph Catholic Hospital. Also, the region has witnessed a tribal conflict involving the Adele, Chala and Achode ethnic groups over land litigation issues. However, in recent time, contention about a yam festival being organized by the Achode people in the Nkwanta town had led to this fresh clashes, and despite attempts by the Oti Regional Security Council to resolve the issues, these skirmishes have continued to plague the town. According to the Oti Regional Minister, Joshua Mukubu, the Oti Regional Security Council has deployed personnel to investigate the trigger for this new attack attack, and also added that the Regional Security Council has also been consulting chiefs and other opinion leaders in the area to urge residents to put down their guns and restore peace. So we're keeping an eye on this situation. We'll be updating you as we go on here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. But government is set to lay before Parliament a constitutional instrument seeking to restrict the importation of selected strategic products into the country. The items, numbering over 20, will include rice, tripe, what you call popularly known as yamuadia, the tripe, and then also the diapers. Some types of diapers, and we don't know the specific detail and exactly how government intends to impose these the bans on the importation of these items. Talk about rice, and then whether the quantification has been done on the amount of local rice is produced into the country, and then also the ones that are imported, and talk about the tripe as well, the Yamadia specifically, and then also the diapers. Government is saying the move is part of efforts to enhance local production. Speaking during a press briefing in Parliament, the Minister of Trade and Industry, Katie Hammond, said government spent about $164 million towards the importation of these items, and it was time to cut down to promote local production. Let's take a listen to Governor Terry Hammond yesterday.
The importation of certain goods, certain produce into the country as a product like stomach of animals, bladder, whatever, the top, intestines. And the country had to put an amount of about $164 million towards the importation into the country of these items. I found that rather revolting. I don't particularly understand why items like this should be imported into the country. There is also the issue about importation of rice into the country. Of course, we consume more than we produce in this country, so we import. Now, the purpose of this particular LI is to sanitize what is it that we bring into the country. The case that minister would have to present his LI, particular LI, to what they call pre-laying. We have never known anything in this house called pre-laying. It is not constitutional and it's not statutory.
That's Katie Hammond there, talking about this legislative instrument that's seeking to restrict importation of selected items. And there's a quick correction earlier. I said it's a constitutional instrument. This is a legislative instrument that the minister is to lay before the House. Now, let's go on to the telephone, and Samson Asaki Awingobit, who is the Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana, is joining us. Ms. Awingobe, thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. So you've heard the minister talk about why he believes that it's unthinkable to be spending this $164 million monthly to be importing rice, diapers, and tripe, that's Yemoadia, into this country. So that's what it's informed this LI to impose a ban, at least a restrictive ban on the importation of these items. Importers and exporters, what's your take on this?
Well, thank you very much, Alfred, and good evening to your listeners and viewers worldwide. I must say that we have had engagement with the Minister of Trade and Industry in regards to the 2023 LI. I'm aware that we had some discussions, but yet we also made it clear to them that they can go for the LI, but in terms of a short-term implementation of that LI will not help the country. Because we have not had any, there's no plans. I know that people have expressed interest to go into rice production. We were told that even the Zoom, we precisely the Zoom Lion, because this thing was mentioned to us in our meeting and he was also there, it was going to invest at $17 million plus into rice production. And others like Avenas and other people who also, and Wilma and others who also want to go into rice production. But the point is, we are going to go into rice production, or we are right into rice production, or we have the quantities of rice that the import one is coming to there's no needed for the importations rice to come to this country. We made it clear that if they take such a short-term measures, what is going to happen? They're going to create food shortage in the country, and that is going to lead up to food insecurity in the country. However, we will support on our own, but we strongly believe that we told them that there should be, after the LI, there should be a moratorium. It should be a period of maybe 3 years, 4, 5 years. Then from there, you can then say, yes, we have currently feeding off, or we want to cut down or curtail some of the 100% importation that we are bringing to the country. But for a short-term measure, as the way the minister is speaking, if the LI should go through and tomorrow he says he's defining, my brother, all of us are going to find ourselves in the hot soup, because Ghana, we do speak cheap. Talk is cheap in this country, and then you can if you want to understand what I'm saying, that talk is cheap. You realize in 2016 when the new Patriotic Party or the ruling government was in opposition, there's so many things. They bite more than they can chew, and at the end of the day, we haven't seen what they said they were going. It has come to reality. I can tell you, right to action cannot take a day. We even raise issues in regard to silos. We don't have silos all over the country, this country. And storage-wise, to get the perfume, to get the quality, you should be able to put up silos all over the country.
Okay.
And that, as we speak now, we do not have that. The animals, intestines that they're talking about, that is the Yimadia that you've been mentioning of. There is a need. There's a gap, and people are bringing in to fill that gap. I remember one of the 2016, the president of today, when he was campaigning, even said that around Agogo, when the animals, and the Agogo people used to have the issues, they said when they come, they are going to make a buffer zone so that the animal will not leave their place and come to the farm and destroy farmers. You remember, as we speak, tell me which part of the country they built that buffer zone for that to rear more animals. So as we speak now, we don't even have to feed ourselves, let alone for export. And so if you go and make TikToks, and then at the end of the day, I remember Honorable Akoto say, or what was the name, the former agric minister, or Akoto Free, am I right?
Yes.
The former agric minister said this several years ago when he was the minister of agric, that 2 years to come, there was not going to be any rice importation to this country. I asked what mechanism was he put in place, because I didn't see.
So you've made all of these references, which are fact. It's indeed the case that the former Food and Agriculture Minister made all of these comments, which did not come to pass, obviously. So during your engagements with the Trade Minister, did you draw his attention to all of these bottlenecks that you're talking about, which could impact on the well-intended policy like this, but the fact that we have not developed enough local capacity to be able to fill up and meet the demand that is currently up for these products or these items that we are imposing a ban on?
Okay, so on both meetings that we met, both at the Ministry of Trade and the other one too at the African Continental Free Trade Area Secretariat House. It was the Deputy Minister that we met. In fact, at the African Continental Free Trade Area House, we were told that the Minister was coming. At the end, it was the same Deputy Minister, the lady, Honorable Dukua, if I pronounce her name very well. I raised this in front of Dukua, food and beverages, and I think John Awonu was there, or Samuel Agri was there. They also raised this issue at the ministries. But at the African Continental Free Trade Area, I was there with the team, and I raised this issue. I said, it's a policy that we can support. We would like to support it, but we are not supporting it in the short term, medium short term. We will be supporting it for long term, and we draw their attention that until we see the quantity, the volume, because $164 million that he's talking about. Yes, that's true. But Ghanaian rice production, at what quantity? What are the volumes you have now? So you cannot go and take decision that at the end of the day, even those who are producing in the northern part of Ghana, the Minister for Youth and Sports, his constituency, I've forgotten the area name. If you talk of the northern part where they produce rice, that is, if you know, do you know his constituency name? I've forgotten the constituency name. That is where they produce. I think you did the northeast area or so. Yes. If you go to that place and you see the former minister for Foreign Affairs, Alaji Mumuni, and the former Minister for Interior, Honorable Makoyungo, they are all farming in that area, that community. If you sit with them and they tell you about their challenges, where even the rice machinery that will do the processing is sitting in Tamale. Okay. Set up the factory around somewhere, and the farm is sitting somewhere. We told them all this. We said, until you put those machinery close to the farm, so that from harvest to that processing plant. But if you go and set up the processing plant in town, then the farm gets sitting somewhere. When we go to Europe, Vietnam and others, India and others, That is not where the farm, those processing for rice machinery are sitting. They
Right.
put right in front of the farm gate, and when you harvest, straight to the pipe rolling, straight to the machinery for processing.
Indeed.
And so you can get the needed stack.
Okay.
And so
what that means is that you have made all of these suggestions to him, and we'll see how things play out in
Alfred, I can tell you the LI will
coming
pass.
days.
The LI will pass, but it won't utilize until we put all those mechanisms in place. Until they tell us, the rice growers tell us what quantities, millions of tons that they have in this country. And for animal production, I don't think we are importing animals from Ghanaian market that the animal you eat, the goat, the cows. It's coming from Burkina Faso, Nigeria, and other areas. So the minister is laughing at the wrong side of his mouth. I don't think Ghana, I don't think what he said. They're singing different song and dancing different song.
All right, we'll see how things play out. Thank you so much. Samson Asaki Awingobit is the Executive Secretary of the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana. There, you were talking about the Minister for Youth and Sports constituency. That's Yagaba Akubori constituency in the Northeast region. So you're right about it. But if you're just joining us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7, we're live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, also on W93.5 in Wa and beyond. Remember, Hot Edition is probably brought to you by Old Mutual. Do great things every day. Our government is set to lay before Parliament a legislative instrument seeking to restrict the importation of selected strategic products into the country. The items, numbering over 20, will include rice, tripe, popularly called yemuadie, in Ghana, and diapers. So that's what we've been having in conversation with the Importers and Exporters Association of Ghana on. Let's stay a bit further on the issues as things play out. We'll hear from the trading community as well on this matter. But into politics, the Vice President and 2024 flag bearer of the New Patriotic Party, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, is saying the 2024 general election will be determined by the achievements of either of the two main political parties. While in government, the overlord of the Dagbang traditional area, Yana Abukari II, appealed to the Vice President to conduct a clean campaign and not to see his opponent, John Mahama, as an enemy. Now, his visit to the Gbewa Palace was to thank the King of Dagbang, Yana Abukari II, and the people of Yendi for their support, which led to his overwhelming endorsement in the November 4 primary. Responding to an appeal by the Yana while assuring of a clean campaign, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia noted that the campaign will be based on achievements of the two main parties who have all tasted power.
2024 election campaign campaign September to so I got to campaign in here. Nane Najo Mahama Yande la campaign Nazanyara Api. Ama doing here cut away. To Marahan Kalishera, you cannot Lala government money, and the tours you loud and some.
On his part, Yana Abukari II described the NPP flag bearer as a fine gentleman and admonished him to see John Mahama of the NDC as a brother and not an enemy, since they are all from the northern region.
We have to be grateful to all Ghanaians for trusting that only a Northerner can lead Ghana after 2024. It's a big opportunity for us to demonstrate our maturity, competence, honesty, and dedication to move Ghana forward. My son, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who is also my son, is your fellow competitor in this election. He is not your enemy or rival. He is your elder brother and the former president of Ghana, who is also being presented by the largest opposition party in our country to be elected as president.
Well, so the Vice President, as a flag bearer of the NPP, is on a thank you tour since his election on November 4 as a flag bearer of the NPP. A man on the ground following the campaign every step of the way. Christopher Mwako has been with the Vice President on the tour in that region. He's joining us on the telephone. Chris, what more has the Vice President been saying, and exactly where has he been?
Okay, so the Vice President has been courting support from the three regions of the North, that is the Northeast, Northern and Savannah region ahead of the 2024 general elections. For him, before going into the presidential primaries, he sought the blessings and support of the chiefs and people of these areas. And once he has been elected and coming from this area, it is imperative for him to come back to them and say thank you to them. So, but one thing he's been telling them is that this is not the real issue, the real battle lies in 2024, and for that matter, he will be needing their support once again to be able to become the #1 gentleman of the land. Currently, as we speak, the Vice President is in the Savannah region, that is to say the Damango constituency, where he visited the paramount chief or overlord of the Gunja Kingdom, Yagbonra Bikunuto Solejewu the First.
How has the reception been in a lot of these places that the Vice President has been to? Chris?
Yes. So, Alfred, it's been massive so far because everywhere he went, from Nalerigu to Tamale, Yendi, Bimbila, Saboba, and now Damango, has been massive, and people have actually come out in their numbers to meet him, especially party supporters.
Christopher Marco, I thank you very much for this update. Christopher Marco is our Northern and Savannah regional correspondent, following the Vice President's team every step of the way for this Thank You Tour in that region. It's live here on Hot Edition on 3 FM 92.7. We're live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, and also on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. Hot Edition is proudly brought to you by Old Mutual. Old Mutual do great things every day. Still on politics, and the chair of the NDC, Johnson Isiedun-Ketia, is daring the Vice President, flag bearer of the NPP, to a truth test as he seeks political power. Now, Dr. Bawumia, who is seeking a first term to be president, has come under scrutiny over his stewardship, as the NDC described him as a dishonest leader who should be rejected immediately by the people of Ghana. I want to take a listen to the chair of the NDC, Johnson Isiedun-Ketia, speaking about this.
Ramon Pepania Auditro, member. Obi Auditro, Yakasa Yamfano Koye Imam and Gramofo Mobapen. Obi Auditro. Yakase, Asori Bim Fanum Kodi Software, Mobapen. Obi Auditro, Okasa Okoye Comfort, Sabosum Nubekuno, and Unti Nipa Usubaya, Udinamno. Fa enujina Ghana for nim nakase Ghana for minie me yonokwafo mintwa nkontompo udi sika ma me amehweso yie ntuntasuo entafre.
As Johnson Isiedun-Ketia there, talking about the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, flag bearer of the NPP. This is live here on Hot Edition on 3 FM 92.7. If you're just joining us, and the story has just gone by, rather unfortunate incident we're hearing in the OT region. 8 people have been confirmed dead in a fresh shooting incident at Nkwanta South in the OT region, according to eyewitnesses. Armed assailants opened fire on residents at Nkwanta Central Market earlier this morning. Now, several property have been destroyed and residents have fled for safety, leaving behind a ghost town. That's what we're reading now here, and we're keeping an eye on that as well. We'll be updating you as we go on when we get through to the municipal chief executive for this particular area. Also, government to ban importation of rice, yemuadia, that's tripe, and then also diapers into the country. That's and the details of a legislative instrument being laid by the Trade and Industry Minister, seeking to restrict the importation of selected strategic products into the country. And this includes rice, tripe, that's yemuadia, and then diapers. We're keeping an eye on this one as well. And the Imports and Exports Association of Ghana have been raising fundamental questions about how this will play out. But after years of failed promises by government to get the Lajuno Hospital reconstructed after it demolished the facility in July 2020, it appears work is beginning on the site. Weeds have been cleared at the site, which until recently remained abandoned for nearly 3 years. The Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, on Wednesday, November 15, during the budget presentation, said work on the Lajuno Hospital will begin this week. Now, this afternoon, when the news team went to the site, weeds that were overgrown on the premises had been cleared by 4 persons spotted with 2 caterpillars on the site. Now, my colleague Evelyn Tema is reporting, though some residents are happy work may soon begin, they are skeptical of this completion. Now, she's joining us on the telephone for a bit more on this. Evelyn, so you've been at the site for most part of today. What did you observe?
Alfred, so like you rightly said, this facility for 3 years now has been abandoned, and the residents have been complaining. They wanted the hospital reconstructed so that they can have access to health care. So when we got there, as you rightly said in your intro, the weeds that were overgrown on the premises of the site had been cleared. And of course, the gate to the facility is still under lock. And so we just had to peep through some other holes there to see what is happening there. And just a few of the men, 4 of them that we saw there with 2 caterpillars, but actually they were not doing anything in there. They were just in there, and because yesterday we were told that by some residents around that it was yesterday that they came to clear the weeds inside there, and so today they were just there hanging around, and basically that was what was happening there today, Alfred.
But how about the residents as well? And they've been waiting in earnest for this. How have they been reacting?
Yes, Alfred, it's been mixed, and really, they are not really perturbed because they said for years they've been pleading for government to come and reconstruct their hospital for them, but no avail. And so, and they think that it's been promises after promises, and it's not being done. So until they see that there's groundbreaking and construction is really going on, they are not really perturbed about it, even though some of them are saying that they are happy that at least that they are coming to start because at least they will have easy access to health care, and so some of them were really happy, others were not, because they are just skeptical about it, that even if government starts this, they may not even complete it in the first place. So most of them are not really enthused about it, speaking to them really. And so that is what the residents were saying. So they are just waiting. If government would continue and finish it up, that would be nice. But if they don't complete it, they will be disappointed in government anyway, Alfred.
Evelyn, thank you very much. Evelyn Tegma is a reporter at the La General Hospital observing the happenings there, interacting with the residents in that area. But ahead of the much anticipated Black Friday sales by major outlets in the country, online shoppers are urged to remain cautious and vigilant against a surge in cyber scams targeting discount hunters during the annual sales frenzy. According to the Cybersecurity Authority, 320 online fraud cases have been reported to the authority, leading to the loss of over 906,000 Ghana cedis as of October 31. Now, the Black Friday, which starts from November 23, is expected to be characterized by an increase in shopping scams and fraudulent activities. Now, Cybersecurity Authority is anticipating a surge in number of cases of scams such as fake online shops, fake promotions, and online brand impersonations. Let's get onto the telephone lines now and engage the Stephen Kojo Seshi from the Cybersecurity Authority for a brief conversation on this and what you should be looking out for as well, especially ahead of this Black Friday sales period. We'll be getting a lot more of that here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. We're also live on Kesmi 107.1 in Tamale and beyond, also on W 93.5 in Wa and beyond. And a number of you also commenting on the issue so far as we're playing out. And one of the major issues trending now is the loss of the Black Stars to this is Comoros. Now, before that, let's do this quickly and what you should be looking out for on the Black Friday. And Mr. Stephen Kojo Seshi from the Cybersecurity Authority is joining us. Mr. Seshi, good morning. Good evening, I beg your pardon. Thank you so much for joining us here on Hot Edition. First off, there is this concern about what to look out for when it comes to what people should be applying for or shopping online. What are the trigger points, especially for you, that consumers should be taking into consideration to avoid being scammed online?
Right. Good evening to you and your listeners. So when it comes to online shopping, the key thing to remember is not everything is what it seems to be. And so for you as prospective online shopper, there are some due diligence you can perform. So first one we can talk about has to do with when you pick up a shop on, say, Instagram or Facebook and whatnot, you want to be sure they have a physical location you can locate them at. And the reason being, if you order something from them and you have a problem, there must be a physical location you can interact with them, either to return what you've received or to get the necessary support. So you need to be sure that this shop actually exists before or that they have a physical presence for you to be able to engage with them. A lot of the scammers, what they do is because you might assume that once they put up a shop online, it's genuine. They don't actually exist. They put up nice flyers, attractive offers. The moment the payment is made, they disappear. So that's one thing you can check for. If the shop or the person who's advertising can give you one, then it's a warning flag. The other thing is even the offers themselves. You need to be careful about those that offer really or extreme discounts. Those are usually the bait they use to attract people that they are going to scam. So if something ordinarily is selling 5,000 and someone tells you they'll give it to you at 1,000, then you need to.
But that's what the Black Friday is about, is it not? So how do you distinguish between that and the the overly unusual discounts which characterizes Black Fridays?
Yeah. So I mean, the discounts are going to be significant during Black Friday, but the thing to do now is you still need to do those checks. The thing about the discounts is it's meant to attract you. So now your checks need to be deeper. The other thing you can look at is the kind of shops that are involved. If you are dealing with the known brand, your Alibabas, your Amazons, those are known brands. So you have some level of security. Even then, you need to be careful. You don't just get attracted to or directed to a fake one. So, for example, you get an email promoting an offer from any of these brands. When you are clicking on links, be careful. Check the actual URL you are arriving at. The URL, for example, needs to show HTTPS. It is secure, meaning nobody can pick up data you enter on that site. Second, the URL must be actually the brand that it is. It shouldn't be something else other than the brand. If it's Amazon.com, check and be sure it's Amazon.com. The reason being, some of these phishing emails are just meant to redirect you somewhere and collect your card data, for example. So you need to be careful with it. There's a new one that's been trending of late having to do with brand impersonation. So you have the scammers pick up a popular brand, for example, a food joint. They would create a Google Map entry, put a contact number there, and then to manipulate the search results such that when you search, that number will come up top. You call them, they will take the call, pretend they are that brand. You place the order, they take the money, they disappear. So there, in those instances, when you get a search result for a brand you have searched for in your search engine, don't just assume they are the right people. Again, you need to do some diligence in terms of look at whether the number that has come up has any reviews. Usually when people are scammed, they might go there and put some feedback that this number is not the one it is. They also have to check the original site of the brand you're dealing with, check their actual official website for any contact numbers to verify that that number you're trying to call is actually theirs before you engage. So I'll say these are some of the things you can do to keep yourself safe during the season.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sashi, for all of these, and we hope that people will also be on the lookout. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
That's Stephen Kojo Sashi is with the Cybersecurity Authority. Now, one thing that we did not bargain for is a loss to Comoros, Black Stars. I mean, and look, Bailey Shen is here. Is with a 3 sports team. What happened? Look, you sat behind the microphone here and you watched it on the television.
Yeah.
Where did Ghanaians go wrong to deserve this kind of situation?
Ghanaians don't deserve this. They don't deserve it at all. The performance was shambolic, especially in the first half again, which has been a problematic thing for Chris Hughton.
No, but why is it that
Very
he always messes up in the first half and tries to now pick up the pieces in the second half?
That is something that a lot of people don't understand. I mean, if you're going through facts, since he took over as the head coach of the Black Stars, in all competitive away games, he's not had a single shot on target in the first half.
How is that even?
That is terrible. That's beyond terrible.
And he still has his job.
He still has his job. And he probably still will have his job by the time AFCON comes. Because, I mean, there's too little time. And it's so sad to see because the Black Stars don't deserve this. There's quality in the team. Now, what shocked me the most was that substitution getting to the end of the game. He brought on Fatawu Shahaku to take off Jordan. Of course, Jordan go off fine. But there's Joseph Pencil at the bench. There's Osman Bukari at the bench. And he decided to bring on someone who can't cross. And someone who just shoots anyhow. To come and give us a shambolic performance.
That's the gentleman who was just playing the thing over the
Yes, that was him. That was him.
I thought he was seeing the goalpost in the sky.
I don't know if he was playing rugby or football. I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell. At that point, I couldn't tell. I couldn't find a difference between rugby and football.
What's his name?
Abdul Fattah Shahaku. What's up, Bruta?
He plays for
Leicester City. What's up, Bruta? Such a shambolic performance. Now, with this loss, Ghana are third in Group I in qualification for the World Cup. Third. Comoros are first. Comoros are on top. This isn't supposed to happen. If there was supposed to be a team on top at this stage, understandably, it could have been Mali because they are first seed. They were the top seed going into the qualification. And
Right.
Ghana is just a tier below. And so for Comoros to go on
why
top,
do we think Comoros doesn't deserve to be on top?
Comoros are 128th on the FIFA rankings.
No,
Ghana are 60th.
The rankings don't determine what happens on the pitch. You see the disgrace, you are 60th. One somebody is twice your position, 120 something.
That makes it even worse. And you know the sad part? I just checked social media, and Comoros' football account on Twitter used Acrobatus video to troll us. To troll Ghana, to troll us.
A taste of your own medicine.
My goodness. And there's no way the Black Stars account can give a comeback because they lost. We do not deserve this. Nobody in Ghana deserves this shambolic performance.
So what kind of response do you expect from the GFA or the football authorities about this?
I mean, in natural sense, they should email Chris Hughton a sack letter. But here's the case where there's only about 1.5 months left to the AFCON. If he is sacked, who is going to replace him? And even if a new person comes in, how is he going to fix the team to be good enough to play in the AFCON?
Are you saying that 6 weeks is not enough time
and that's
to
not
have
even
someone take over?
And that's not the only thing. That's not the only thing. The Ministry of Youth and Sports hasn't finished paying Milovan Rajevac after sacking him. They've neither finished paying Sika Akono. They are training on 2 coaches. Now, if Hughton goes right now, they'll be training on 3. They'll have to pay him 2. That is financially, too much right now. And we've put ourselves in this mess. And we have to be in this mess until AFCON.
Sad one.
Very sad.
Bill, thank you. Thank you for sharing the misery of Ghanaians. And Bill is sharing us for 3 Sports. This is Hot Edition, and it's probably brought to you by Old Mutual. Stay with us right after this quick break, and we'll have Michael Obudu with the business news. Stay with us.
Well, hello there, and welcome to the business segment here on Hot Edition. My name is Michael Obudu. Straight into our top story as financial analyst Lord's Bank of Ghana's move to sanitize forex market and indicates it has the potential to curb speculation and depreciation of the cedi. Details coming up shortly. Please stay with us. Let's bring you our first story now. As a financial analyst, Patrick Abankwaba has commended the central bank's decision to move to fine and suspend ZPay Ghana Limited's forex license, emphasizing its potential to curb speculation and stabilize the forex market. He highlighted the detrimental impact of the speculation in the forex market, which often leads to the depreciation of the cedi.
Such a signal helps to regulate and tame down speculation in the forex market. Speculation is one of the key things that drives the depreciation of any currency. So if the central bank is not able to set signal by way of suspensions, then it gives a room for people to do whatever they want to do, because government and Bank of Ghana itself is struggling to regulate the black market. So the highly regulated institutions must follow the rules according to how it's supposed to be played by Bank of Ghana. So if an institution is not going by rates that have been given by Ghana Association of Banks and Central Bank itself, then I believe that such institution is only opening up for suspension or fines, as we have seen with ZPay. And we don't forget, just some few months ago, another bank suffered the same fate where their license was suspended for a period of time. So I believe that that is what we need in this space, so that the currency will always be strong and will not have ripple effect of depreciation of cedi just because of what speculation.
That was financial analyst Patrick Abankwaba speaking there. Now, business owners are worried that the 2024 budget has gaps that need to be addressed. Chief Executive Officer of Dalex Finance, Ken Thompson, says although inflation is trending downwards, it will go high again because price of food items are quite at concerning levels. He made this known on the sidelines of the top business leadership breakfast meeting held in Accra.
We should only spend what we can afford. I mean, we are increasing expenditure for 176. I think 176 belongs to over 200 billion. And the government is increasing salary for public service workers by 22%. Come on. Which country has become successful when public sector employees are paid more than the private sector? The government has shown itself incapable of allocating resources. Take any sector: health, transport, education, light manufacturing, just name it. All governments over time have shown that they are incapable of utilizing the resources they are given, and all the money that has put in there has gone to waste. Compare financial services, compare all those industries to those in the private sector. So we need to advocate for the government to implement measures that support the system. But they're not going to do it because we asked them to do it. They're going to do it because we pushed, we talked about it, we advocated for it, we fight for our children. That's when it's going to happen.
That was Chief Executive Officer of Dalex Finance, Ken Thompson. Now, the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana has expressed concern over the likelihood of the Planting for Food and Job Phase 2's success. According to the association, the 2024 budget read by Finance Minister Ken Ofori-Atta had no budget allocation for the program. Bismarck Tete Owusu Norte is the Peasant Farmers Association's head of programs. We'll listen to him.
The program is said that the anchor farmer or aggregator is supposed to procure inputs, fertilizer and seeds from the participating companies. The farmers are supposed to enjoy some services, land preparation, clearing of their land and things like that. All these things need infrastructure, right? They need equipment. And then those infrastructure cannot be put in place by the private sector. That should be led by government. So if government doesn't invest in those areas, then a PFJ2, you might not be getting the optimum result that we're expected to get. And that's why we expect that there should be monetary allocation to fit or to fix that infrastructure gap we have for PFJ2 to work.
So that was the head of programs for the Peasant Farmers Association of Ghana, Bismarck Tete Owusu Norte, bringing an end to the business segment here on Hot Edition. For more business stories, please check out our website, 3news.com. My name is Michael Obodu. Thank you for listening. As always, please stay safe. Up next is entertainment news.
Hello and thank you for staying with us here on Hot Edition on 3FM 92.7. It's now time for the entertainment news segment powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akof, and our TV3 over the weekend launched an all-new exciting reality show, Ghana's Most Photogenic, with host Regina Van Helvert. The contest creates an avenue for 12 aspiring models to take on different challenges to emerge the best model on a big stage. Now, the first phase of the audition is over, with 21 ladies shortlisted out of the numerous ladies that showed up for the auditions. Catch the show every Saturday at 8 p.m. as we unveil the final 12 contestants that will make it to the 2023 edition of Ghana's Most Photogenic. Now, away from that, Ghanaian artist Kwesi Arthur has stirred discussions on Twitter following his performance at Davido's Away Festival in the United States. Now, fans were excited when he was announced as one of the few artists to grace the stage, but they have been left disappointed as his performance has been rated to be subpar according to music enthusiasts. In an X post, the rapper responded saying, "I see y'all comments. Even if there were 2 people in the arena, I would have still performed. I gonna need y'all to shove your opinions up your bleep." And to some other stories now, Ghanaian dancehall artist Shatta Wale has expressed worry over the challenges plaguing the Ghanaian music industry. On his Facebook page, he writes the lack of appropriate policies, among other things, has contributed to the current state of the Ghanaian music industry. It is clear that the lack of conducive policies, infrastructure, and resources have hindered our growth and potential on the international stage. We must urgently address this by improving regulatory frameworks, investing in modern infrastructure, and strengthening intellectual property rights and licensing. To make things better, he has suggested a concerted effort by industry stakeholders to effect desired changes needed for the growth of the industry. Now, he says it is time for us to work together to create an enabling environment that attracts major global investment and propel our music industry to unprecedented heights, contributing to our national identity and economy. Now, he also goes on to say, let us rally together as stakeholders in the Ghanaian music industry and collaborate to open the doors of opportunity for our industry. By any means necessary, we need to put in efforts to make sure our music is heard globally as Ghanaians. This is not the first time the dancehall artist has proffered solutions to the industry's problems. In 2021, during his State of the Industry address, he highlighted similar concerns. Now, Shatta Wale also said Ghanaians should set an agenda to play 90% Ghanaian music and 10% foreign. He advised powers that be to use music as a tourism tool to promote the country. Lastly, he said if the state could spend 10% of the sports budget on music, it will set the music industry on the road to global heights. Well, the country, the Black Stars actually also just lost to Comoros. So people are really reacting to this conversation. But finally, before I go, rapper A$AP Rocky will go on trial in Los Angeles on allegations that he shot a pistol during a dispute with a former childhood friend. A$AP Rocky, real name Rakim Myers, was present for the second day of the preliminary hearing when the decision was made. Now, according to prosecution, Mr. Myers, 35, shot and pointed a firearm at Terrell Ephron 2 years ago, slightly hurting him. Mr. Myers has entered a not guilty plea. He is the father of 2 children with famous singer Rihanna. Now, Mr. Myers, a 2-time US #1 album producer and Grammy nominee, is accused of 2 felonies of assault with a firearm. If proven guilty, he may go to prison for up to 9 years. And that is how we end the entertainment news segment here on Hot Edition, powered by 3 Entertainment. My name is Akofu. Thanks for tuning in. Alfred?
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
You good?
All is well. You're back at 8?
I am back at 8 with Wind Down. And did you watch the game earlier?
No, I saved myself the heartbreak.
It was good. It was good you did. Yeah, it was good you did. Yeah.
Don't trade your life for all these things.
Well, it's the hope that kills. Sometimes you just have to be hopeful. I think that's what it is.
You still have hope in the Black Stars.
Well, It's a conversation for another day.
I see. Anyway, you join me at 10 p.m. on Ghana Tonight. On behalf of the rest of the team, I want to say thank you so much for staying with us here on Hot Edition. It's probably brought to you by Old Mutual. Do great things every day. I am Alfred Ocansey. Have a great evening.